What's up, guys? My name is SoCalAshez, and you're here with a SoCalAshez movie review. This time we are doing the Winchester movie. It is February 2nd, or 3rd now, because it is 2 a.m. We just got back from it, and we wanted to give you our fresh perspective on it, alright? So follow along. So joining with me today on this movie review is my girlfriend, and you'll probably see her every time, so get used to that. On this movie review, it is going to be non-spoilers. We're going to be going over plot, acting, jump scares, etc. Movie stuff, scary movie stuff. Doesn't matter, we'll cover it all here. So, first thing we're going to go over is the plot of this movie. The trailers did a really good job not letting you know exactly what was going to go on. I only saw really the theatrical trailers myself, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even know like the basic stuff about the movie either. And even just the basic structure of the house, like I had no idea how it was gonna go. My imagination was completely different than how it was gonna go. Which was really nice because a lot of movies, the entire trailer ruined it. Like we saw trailers before the movie that we were like, well, we might as well not even go to the movie because we just saw everything about
Exactly.
it. So that was really nice.
Yep. So the plot of this movie is that the heiress to the Winchester repeating rifles company has secluded herself more and more in her old age. Her husband has passed away, her daughter's passed away at a young age as a baby, and now she bought what was once a 7-bedroom house and continues to renovate and build on it, adding more and more rooms that sometimes go up, sometimes go down. So what did you think of the base plot based on that?
Well, I guess compared to a lot of other horror movies, it was very unique, like all the twists and turns that it did. Like, although I was able to predict some of them, I know you were not able to predict a lot of them.
No.
And it kind of just like added an extra little spice to the movie overall.
Yeah, true. So on that aspect, I thought it was pretty nice. But now let's kind of go over the actors and how they did. There's a couple key actors and then a handful of small ones, and that was it. A relatively small cast for the movie. You had Helen Mirren playing as Sarah Winchester, we'll just refer to her as Miss Winchester every once in a while. And then Jason Clarke playing as Eric Price. You also had Sarah Snook playing as a character, Maggie. They didn't really say her name too much. And then the son, not listed on IMDb, but his name was Henry. And he was also pretty key to the story. And then there was a couple other ones who, honestly, kind of going into their character might give away too much. So just base impressions. What do you think of everyone's acting? Was it enough to pull you in?
It was enough to pull me in, but it was not like superb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was good enough to keep me at least interested, and nothing like really had me thinking like, oh wait, like this is just a movie. But there was nothing like over the top. Like I'd say like even Miss Winchester was a bit too dramatic at points.
Right, and then a bit under-dramatic at the same time.
Yes, like it depended on the scene. Like sometimes she was like absolutely like freaking out, but it just seemed too much, like too intense, and then other times not enough. But it was never enough to pull me out of the movie. So I wouldn't say it was good. I mean, it was good. It was not amazing. It was not bad. It was just good.
Right. It didn't. It's still, the movie was still good, and then there was the actors. Like it wasn't like, oh my, but Jason Clarke as Eric blew me away. It wasn't really anything like that. But it wasn't anything to bring the movie down either.
I would also like to note just the character names as well. We don't know really any of the character names. Like we knew Winchester just because it was part of the movie.
Exactly.
But like even looking up on IMDb and other websites like that, like they don't even know the main character. Main characters' names, like the key characters.
Sure.
Which and one of them isn't even billed. So I just thought that was interesting that like we couldn't even remember most of the names. So it's not really a fault. It's just like it's weird.
It is strange. It was a scary movie, so we're also going to talk about the jump scares and what kind of put it as a horror movie instead of maybe like just a detective movie or a mystery movie, you know. So as far as jump scares go, girlfriend, what do you think about that?
They were actually really good. Like they had me on my toes. There was a couple of like the basics, like oh, look away, look back, look away, look back, and then boom, there it is.
Yeah.
But then there was a couple of them that like really caught me off guard, and I even like the ones that were typical. It still scared me.
Right. There was always that weird tension whenever you kind of knew one was going to come off. There wasn't, if any that I could think of right at the top, none that like really, like at a time that would surprise you. They were all kind of at times where me personally, I like covering my ears. If I could just take out the whole audio portion completely, then I could like look at whatever terrifying thing is about to come. but with my so there was enough time for me to go, and then for it to come up, whatever it was.
Yeah, like the ghosts were even like no, never mind, I gotta remember that. But even like the people who were like we were being scared off, they were really like average looking, like even just the makeup effects and everything.
Yeah, you kind of see it right. Not the first ghost. The first one you're like, okay, you only see him in a flash. But the second ghost, you get more than a flash, maybe like 2 seconds, and that's enough time for your brain to like full scan the dude. And you're like, yeah, he's just kind of blue with like, you know, white eyes. But other than that, it's just very low key on that one, which is very surprising. Honestly, when you think of who the actors are in this movie, you'd think it'd be more of a big budget, but I guess that's another thing worth looking. It's especially with how big the house is and everything. Yeah. Although they always did show kind of the same area.
Yes,
that is another thing.
I noticed that like the main staircase where he ends up staying in, they repeated it again in like a different area of the house, but they kind of just added an effect, like fog where his room was, and more focus on the staircase next to it. But like immediately when that happened, I was like, that's actually kind of interesting. Like I get that it was a huge house, but they could have at least made it look a little bit more different. Maybe like, knock out one of the doors or like cover it up with a curtain or something.
Yeah, so
but,
a couple things in thinking about it that make you think, hey, this is a lower budget kind of horror movie. Yeah, surprisingly.
Especially after that first guy, when you scan him up and down, then you end up noticing like every single one after that is kind of just the same kind of look. There was an occasional like, kind of boiled up, but some of them like didn't even look like by the end. Some of them didn't even look like they were ghosts. They just looked like they were normal people. Right.
Yeah. So. But it also didn't suffer from that, to me personally, didn't suffer from that, like, when you knew who the big, you know, ghost bad guy was, there was still an air of fear, and they still did a very good job keeping him away, because every person now, at this point, kind of, with enough horror movies, knows that once you see something, it takes the fear out of it. But in this one, you see him, and you know what he is, but they still, like, he's gone. You know, he's still he's still a threat, an unknown, unseen threat, even though there's obviously Winchester guns involved, so it's not like Doom where it's like, oh, big motherfucker, and just blasting and killing everything. As far as a scary movie by itself, how would you recommend that? Like, would you recommend it to someone else as a scary movie alone?
As a scary movie, I did like the jump scares. Like, none of them got me, like, shaking, but they were good. I wouldn't say, like, by the end, though, that I was really scared at all. Like, I was maybe, like, worried for the characters, because I did end up kind of liking them, but I wasn't, like, scared out of my mind. Like, I didn't, like, get out of the theater scared, or I won't go driving home, like, oh my god, like, that actually did scare me.
Right. Yeah, and I guess another thing, thinking of the characters, how we did like them, essentially, every character, for whatever position they needed for the movie, came full circle. There wasn't any, like, person who was kind of just thrown in there. There wasn't anyone who, you're just like, that's kind of unnecessary. Yeah, they all had a reason, they all had a good arc.
But, like, yeah, that's kind of, like, one of the perks of having a smaller cast is that they're able to do that. That they don't have to focus on so much attention on everybody. Like, yes, some of the side characters you don't go into huge depth with because they are side characters, but they were still, like, built up enough.
Alrighty, so now we're just gonna give it, like, an overall rating. Like a kind of, would you recommend this to a friend? Would you watch it again kind of rating. So, girlfriend?
I guess I wouldn't really recommend it to a friend in the scariness factor.
Right.
Like, it wasn't an awful movie. I did like the plot. It did take some interesting turns. Like, yes, some of the plot was a bit dry that didn't need, but it wasn't bad overall. I do have to say, though, the ending was a bit disappointing, just how it led up to that. Like, there were so many different ways they could have taken it, but they led it to there. And then, honestly, right after the ending, it was kind of like, okay, we're done. Goodbye. Like, you're leaving. Goodbye. Like, it was very, like, quick to wrap up, so that was a little bit disappointing.
That also does kind of happen in most horror movies.
Yes, so I will say
once
that.
Once the main huge climax is over, then it's pretty much like, alright, well, glad we came.
Because then they don't have anything else to do. It's not like they can add another jump scare,
exactly.
Which I will give it that.
Although some movies do. And it did kind of have a little thing at the end where I honestly was still tense until I saw it directed by whoever. then I was like, oh, okay, good, no other jump scare is gonna come.
But like, just like how they took down the main guy was kind of like, it was very impersonal. There wasn't really any meaning to it, so that was a bit disappointing.
Right.
I guess like the acting wasn't amazing, so that I guess that can, but that's not really a fault of it.
Right.
And just like the makeup of it too, just going back to that was a bit
Sure.
bad, but like.
Okay. So for me, I always kind of go on like a would you recommend it to a friend? Would you watch it again? Kind of feel to it. Would I recommend it to a friend? Yes. I wouldn't say go rush out to the theaters to go see this. This could be one of the ones that you either wait until like a Netflix and chill kind of night. It's a pretty good like just hang out at the house and watch a good scary movie. Rush out, go spend $15 at the theater, potentially $50 if you're going on like a date. Probably not, to be honest. It is a little low budget, and you kind of get that feeling. But it's a scary movie in January, so yeah, at that point, if you got nothing else better to do, go on and see it. Next would be like, was it a scary movie? Yes, it was. It kept me, at least me personally, in high tense thrill throughout the entire thing, and I really enjoyed that. There was always that fear of what was going to come next, and the jump scares where they were predictable, you still were scared. So that's the best feeling, I guess, out of a movie. Overall, though, I did really enjoy it. I walked out of it more indifferent than like if I didn't like it or if it was so great I gotta tell everybody. So that will kind of affect how our rating is. So now we will actually go into our rating. What do you think?
So like I said before, I wouldn't really recommend it as a horror movie, but more maybe of a mystery movie to a friend.
Right.
And as you kind of said, I wouldn't recommend going out for it either. But overall, I would say a 6 out of 10. It did have good things going for it, like the plot, but the overall budget and like you said, just the fault of it, more of a 6 out of 10 for a horror movie.
Yeah, I unfortunately kind of agree. Like walking out of the theater, I was like, man, maybe like a high 7, low 8, because mainly for me, they didn't shove a love scene into it. It was very, here's to the point and here's what's going on and you're gonna enjoy it. And I did enjoy it, so I might stick to low 7 though. I think that after we talked about the kind of picked at the faults, which I guess you could do with anything, I think low 7 still applies. It's still slightly above average. I'd still tell people to see it, but maybe like think of where you're gonna see it, really, you know, and what else you could potentially do with that $10 to $50 you might spend at the movie theaters instead. So yeah, that's really all we got for it. It was a good movie, and we hope you enjoyed like this movie review. Okay, if you did like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if this is your first time coming over and watching something of ours.
Yeah, I know.
Of ours. Leave a comment down below if you liked, if you have any inputs of your own like to put in, or if there's any way we can possibly improve this. And if you really did enjoy it, more than just hitting that like button, hit a share, put it on Twitter, message me on Twitter, message me in any potential way. Links for everything is going to be down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.